Ruth?
Here, yes. I'm waiting for it.
With,
No,
Oh,
here,
can we flip? Can we flip so that we see and
Yes.
others, there.
do you have HBO? Yeah, let's put Bill Maher.
that'd be good.
Isn't that cool?
Let's just change that to view.
Camera, action.
Camera, the gallery.
There we
There we
go.
go. Yes, excellent.
All right.
Okay, call this meeting to order. And Ruth, I'm gonna ask you if you'd be willing to take notes again?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. And roll call, Ruth Flower.
Here.
Paul McGowan, present. Bruce.
Oh, Bruce, I forgot my name.
And Eric. Okay, good, you're all here. And then we have the minutes of the last meeting. Any
Move approval of the minutes of May 9.
any further discussion?
Aye,
You-
in favor.
Okay, everybody, okay. With that, I assume everybody is in the meeting. Great. All right,
All right.
and thank you for doing that. It was very well done. Correspondence and updates. I sent a letter to the personnel chair and said that we would like to get together with him. And I've already told him we're trying to do the 22nd of June because he gave me 22nd, 23rd as possible dates. So I understand we've got this room next week, June 22nd
Yeah, 22nd.
at 4 p.m. Huh?
That won't work for me.
It won't.
No.
Well, it is the
I'm-
only day and any time I've got. Are you gonna be out of town or
I'm most likely not going to be here.
is there any way you could be by Zoom?
They don't do Zooming very well.
Oh, I can do it on. I've had a couple of grandkids around, I think. Depends, there's some other moving parts.
Yeah.
Uh,
But, you know, if you
I won't.
can't, you can't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
And I could-
so I will get back to Bill. Yes,
I could make the 20th work. I could probably make the 21st work.
yeah, they can't do that. They had 22nd or 23rd. And I go to the airport the evening of the 22nd.
So you're off the clock.
Yeah, so I need to, I mean, if you want me to run the meeting, it's 4 o'clock on the 22nd.
So I have a question for you.
Can we push it off so everybody can do it?
Well, that's one good question.
That's,
And the second good question is, what is our purpose? Is there anything on the agenda?
well,
for that
specifically,
meeting?
yes, it would be for them, first of all, to ask us questions. And also plan together when we do the open meeting to the public.
Well, I thought the open meeting was going to be with the select board.
No, it's
Okay.
not.
Well,
We've had that conversation with Matt Johnson.
Well, yes, we did,
they
but
could-
there are, moving parts. We said there were 3 options. We could do it. Personnel board could do it,
But they're not, they want us to do it.
or, well, they met. We don't have the opinion of the board. And the third one was, the personnel board would do it. And I objected strongly to putting the personnel board in that position because they've not sat in on our meetings. They
Right.
don't know
Right.
what we're learning or,
Right,
and in
and they
this,
don't want to do it.
and they don't want to do
Well, I'm
it.
not
so-
sure they should. We're
Right.
commissioned by the select
Right.
board. We report to the select board, and we should do the open meeting with the select board.
Yep.
That's to wait till September, that's. Supposed to be done anyway.
Well, my understanding, Ruth, from our conversation with Matt was he was expecting us to do a public hearing before we report to the select board.
Yes, but I think the plan was, from our discussion was, there would be a hearing. We would gather our draft recommendations. There would be a hearing open to the public to gather public insight into our recommendation.
To which the town employees would be invited.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if we learn anything from that hearing that would affect our recommendation, we amend our recommendation.
Yeah.
And then it goes to
To the
the
select
select
board.
board and we are disappointed. We are dissolved.
Yeah,
So, yes, it's a two-step. But the problem with, and I don't like to beat it to death. Boy, I could beat it to death. The problem with turning it over to the planning, to the
personnel board.
personnel board is
We're not turning over.
they don't know what's going on. And so if we say at this meeting on Wednesday, it's for them to ask us questions.
It's just for them to get on board
So,
and for them to be a part of planning that public meeting. We'll still, I have already said to him that we're making all the arrangements, so
I wish you could,
all they have to do is show up.
I wish you could push the day to the 22nd off so we could all be. Sure, I can't.
Then it's after the 4th of July.
Huh.
Okay,
For which meeting? Now I'm lost. A meeting with.
now,
a meeting with
the only meeting I want to talk about right now is getting together with the personnel board.
however, this is our last scheduled meeting. We do have
Right.
to book into the future for ourselves. And this,
Right.
the next Wednesday meeting is not what I would call our meeting in the sense of it's not for moving ahead. It's,
Bringing up to speed.
yeah, it's a look back.
Mhm.
For, but I don't think we're in the position, we don't have documents. We have nothing
Right.
that they can study and
Well, then
learn.
what-
Yes, we do. We have plenty of, they can study this.
So what our expectations are is, okay, Bill, we fine tuned it, we have this date, we have this time, we are here.
Yeah.
We recommend you go to the town website for our page and study our page. So our page has charge, the
Mhm.
agendas, the minutes. I don't know,
It does have background information. It has a survey.
has the survey, but it doesn't have bullets, it doesn't have org chart, it doesn't, so if we're gonna do this.
Well,
we
it
get
does,
all
why
posted.
wouldn't it have the org chart? Because it was part of this packet.
It's not complete. We're missing stuff.
The org chart
We
is
are?
in here,
What are we missing?
Human services.
all of the,
Oh,
it doesn't have the
I thought it did.
enterprise funds.
Huh?
There are no enterprise funds employees on these charts. So nothing from light plant,
Oh,
nothing from
okay.
rec, nothing from,
And this stuff is not easy to good. Yeah, it should be pretty simple.
but it's hard to get.
Oh, yeah.
But, the things that we have been talking about are not automatically being posted
Right.
to the website.
Right.
In a searchable way, in the sense of what we have is part of the packet. But unless people want to read every page of every packet, which is not annotated, and they can do it, it's not impossible. But in order to be prepped, they really have to do some homework.
That's one of the reasons I did this little part of my bullet thing. I don't know if this is a good time to bring it up, but just as a story.
Yep.
Of how things occurred, have come into play.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it's really important for
No, I
the
think
discussion of people to look at things to say, I mean, I mentioned, I bring up Anita Techley's analysis of the personnel board meetings. I brought up Ned Perry's analysis or excellent letter, but also the
Looking back,
looking back at
Yeah,
the town
yeah.
annual reports
Yeah.
that I think,
It should
I,
be.
I think it's gonna be hard for someone to get the flavor of it and then having to keep going, all right, there's a reference to Ned Perry's letter, well, where's that?
Yeah.
Now you've gotta go back through minutes
Because
and
it's within another document without being in it.
do you think it's possibly more efficient for us to decide things that we should,
we could do that.
to put together
Yeah.
for the, because I don't have a lot. That I mean, I think,
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff is just, they haven't been doing what they're supposed to be doing for 20 years. Follow the job descriptions, follow what you're supposed to do.
if we can put that stuff together, that's why.
Well, we're gonna get there. Hold on a minute.
Okay,
So, all right, were you saying you do not want to do next week?
I think it's gonna be, can I make a joke here? It's like, trying to-
Absolutely.
it's like someone trying to find a personnel policy.
Yeah.
When there are none.
Well, we're there, but it's sort of a where's Waldo
You
situation.
can start by the number, but you don't know what the title is.
Right, so I,
Let me check in my bag here.
here's Paul's joke of the day.
It's okay.
If we package, we think,
Well, what I'm getting at, okay, you're not gonna be here. You're willing to,
90% chance I can't, I'm not sure. I've got some moving parts I don't really want to get into.
okay, you don't need to.
Why not?
But the point is, if they move it further out,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if, then we need another meeting to plan what we're gonna present to them.
And that would be basically getting the draft of our report together. I mean, I would vote for July 11th. I'm pretty sure I can do that.
Yeah, the problem is we don't know what their schedules are.
Well,
But
they
We
might,
didn't know this one until we
Right,
proposed.
right.
So,
I mean, as a planning meeting, that would be our meeting to
Yeah.
plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And that's separate from what the recommendations are for the selectmen.
I don't think so. It's all. put
Well,
together
that's,
report.
our goal here is to put all the moving parts,
Yeah.
to use your phrase, together
yeah,
for the selectmen.
right.
And we know that it's not final because we have to
Right.
do some finding ourselves and tweaking ourselves, but we're trying to get a plan together for what is it that we want to say.
Yeah.
And I think we can't lose sight of that, and we're not going to get it done in 2 meetings.
Right.
Well, I think we can get it done in 2 weeks. I think it's a question of whether or not people are willing to do some homework.
Okay.
Because what I wanted to do is go through this and say, is this the order you want? Yay or nay? If it's not, what is the order? What do you want in the appendix? Blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So that was what I was hoping we were gonna do tonight.
Well, I think we can get a lot of it done. I don't have a lot of,
Yeah, there's really, I mean, we've
I
got,
think this is a good shot at exec summary.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
well,
stuff
except
we
that
can-
it doesn't get into methodology, it doesn't get into all the other stuff that was supposed to be put on the website. All the articles, studies that other organizations have done. Doesn't get into what's happening in the whole personnel arena nationwide. It does not get into the findings and recommendations that we came up with back in March or April. Yeah. And I heard nothing about all this.
So you have for methodology this one paragraph.
Yep,
Okay.
so far.
And.
And like I said, you know, have at it. If this is better, you think this is a better Service
Okay, I'm
fine,
thinking we can interleave things
Right.
here.
exactly.
Yeah.
For example, I think one of the things that's very poignant is the 50% churn.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Mhm. Over 50%.
Mhm.
And I thought I put it in, yes, I did.
Yeah.
Underneath the summary of
You did.
findings and recommendations,
Mhm.
I included it on the next, the third up paragraph from the end. And I also think I also made some quotes from Anita's work too in there.
I'm missing 50%.
It's on this last page. And it was the third paragraph up.
Right, okay, okay, all right, you said-
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we put these two together.
We didn't say anything about the vote of town meeting on compensation that did not get to the rank and file for 2 years. Is that appropriate?
Yes. I would-
Well, I don't think it is. I don't think it addresses. I mean, we're straying away from our charge.
Oh, the personnel board is responsible for that article. And everybody, yes, that was voted. The personnel board secured that vote.
Okay,
And then what happened?
Right.
It didn't get,
So why wouldn't it have gotten there?
it was
It
It
delegated.
was consumed. And it was consumed on compensation, as I understand it, but not necessarily. Not necessarily everybody got their compensation. Maybe there were new hires, maybe there were, whatever is
Yeah.
going on in that department. But for 2 years, there were people who didn't get the funds, as I understand.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't
So-
see it written.
so down at the bottom, Ruth, of the, I should have numbered these pages, of the third page where it says summary of findings and recommendations. The bottom one says, the task force recommended personnel board to play an important strategic role in discussing with and informing the select board on the challenges with employee turnover rates, employee morale, or satisfaction with employee benefits. And then there was no time between the years 2011 and 2021 for these discussions. And there's been a 50% turnover rate within the past 5 years, not due to retirement.
Mhm.
We could add to that fact and town meeting votes were held up, were not,
Not followed.
Well, I don't know.
Not
the right
followed?
word. It's not diverted in the sense of embezzlement, that's not what I'm talking about at all.
well, town meeting votes were not followed. Let's leave that for now. Okay,
Methodology and that your grasp of the English language is far better than mine. Is there any way we can just take, after I do a little bit of work to this, because I haven't quite finished the last piece, where it can just be a part of it?
sure.
I mean, why not just
You
make,
mean, you just take this and play with it.
well, no, I'm not even, a lot of what you have in there is great.
Okay,
The methodology and all the kind of things that are.
but I'm saying, why don't you take it and make the next revisions?
Okay.
Why not just,
We don't have on this list we, on this list, draft, we do not have executive summary,
Yes, we do. Right below it.
introduction, charge, methodology, discussion, summary
Yep,
of findings.
yep.
I'm talking about first, an executive summary. Something
Before,
like that.
oh, you're talking about even before the methodology?
Yeah.
Okay,
Before we, and then, this is our
Yeah.
summary, and then we get into, and the methodology we.
how is
use.
that different from introduction?
Well, I think some of the introduction has to be, as I say, interleaved, that's not necessarily the right word.
Okay, all right.
But, to capture.
So you want to
some of
call this,
Paul's-
instead of introduction, say summary? I mean, let's take a look at what the table of contents would be.
Okay.
First, and see if there's something missing there. And if there is, then that's something we need to address.
Mhm.
So charge from the select board, we're gonna put that in here. It's gonna be attached.
Yeah, that's good. It's already on the website.
Yeah, but it's not in here.
Okay, that brings up the question of each time there is something that's on the website, can we just go to the website? Or you want all of those things as part of an appendix,
I think there should be an appendix.
even though they're at the website?
I would never go there.
It's not the world's happiest website.
Can't find
You
stuff on it.
Can't find it.
So everything that we refer to that we should want them to see goes in the appendix.
Well, I might step all over my words and say, whoa, do we really need to put a 50-page?
That's what I'm trying to, I was trying to get away from that, yeah.
I think
I mean, I don't, I mean,
I understand that.
Mm.
Why can't we just say, are we suggesting, so I'm getting this, that much of this will end up as the, what,
Summary.
as the summary?
rather than, yeah,
Um,
rather than introduction. We'll change it to summary.
Where's that? That's Paul. Okay.
So this becomes the introduction?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. All right,
I'm writing C. Paul.
I'm gonna write my stuff. Okay,
Yeah, and take that with what I wrote and meld them together.
Yeah, I think so.
That works.
Okay, I love being
Yeah.
done. All right, move it on.
yeah, I think that,
Okay, good, all right.
but I mean, I'm not gonna retype all this and make a.
Do you want-
You have
I'll
all,
do it.
it's there.
Is there an allowed to type for us?
Huh?
How many hours does she have
I'm just
in
gonna,
her day?
you have.
Yeah, but this, I think your stuff is great, is good.
Yeah,
I-
I'll take
We
this
just won't
and,
read it
and,
today,
and
just-
weave it in. Okay.
Okay. All right,
Then it says charge.
charge. So perhaps what we need to do is make sure that the combination of your words and her words talk about the charge. And, when it was approved, when we met, that it was amended and off we
Is
went.
that included in here? Do I
It
know?
just makes a reference in the first,
You reference it,
That's all.
and that's good. I mean,
yeah.
I think we just put the final charge in.
It's a page, 2 pages.
It's 2 pages.
No
Yeah.
big deal.
I don't disagree with that.
So in the appendix, the charge, even though it's on the website, I'm right, this is, we
Good.
gotta do it, guys.
Yep. Good.
And then we get into methodology.
Mhm.
Yes, okay, my favorite. Okay, so,
Oh, well, I should ask beforehand, are there things that should be added to this table of contents that are not currently listed here?
For our actual report.
Yeah,
so maybe more language surrounding the word discussion. Okay, so we have methodology, I get discussion, is not clear.
Okay, discussion of philosophy? And if anybody comes up with anything else?
Purpose or, but we're open, people could give us better words.
Okay,
But, we just need to define what it is we're going to discuss in that section.
now we already worked on this summary of findings and recommendations.
Yes.
And then we have, this is where we basically put things in columns
Mhm.
for personnel procedures. And
The org chart, if we're using the org chart, we have to
well,
get.
where's the bylaws? There should be bylaws too.
Yeah. Bylaws and the 87. and then-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Good point.
I don't have it with me. Okay, so. So it's bylaw review and the 1987,
85.
excuse me, 5,
624.85.
and then the PPPs.
PPPs.
The closing, I only started.
$11, 17. And the Personnel department is 624.85.
I'm sure we can complete the closing until we really have the public hearing.
Yeah.
And we're at the end of the process, then we can make up a. Would seem.
Well, it was just a draft anyway. Yeah. But is there anything else?
Is it possible that we could ask Aaron to get the enterprise fund flow charts? You could try.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank
Okay,
you.
good.
Yes.
Great.
Now, this does not have in it the earlier memo of questions, the checklist, it was called, I think, the checklist for employee actions.
Well, this was included in this packet,
Was it?
the sample checklist. My bullet items, I don't know if that's necessary or.
We did that last month, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
and I didn't bring my last month's stuff here.
I got as far as org chart.
And then there's a.
There's the
Oh, there it
checklist.
is. Okay.
So, this is included and of course, I'm assuming that there will be complete sentences about these. Rather than just have them dropped in, our language in the report is going to reference why.
In the closing.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that makes sense.
Well, and is that something you want in the appendix?
This checklist or.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere.
Some, whether it's attached to the report or in the appendix, whatever.
I think it's gonna be in the appendix.
Okay. I don't,
As long as it's there.
as long as it's there.
And there, but it can't be there in a form that when somebody gets to it, they say, why is it here? Earlier in the report,
Oh,
there has to be a
You just
reference.
reference.
Yes,
Go to
yes.
the A or B or C
Yeah.
or whatever.
It will. I mean,
I
that's,
can clean this,
Mhm.
what I gave, I'll clean it up, but I
Yeah.
can make a. It didn't get deeply into the compensate, into the reclassification issues and some of the
yeah,
things.
there's no point to it because it's being studied this year by outside consultants.
No, I'm talking about
Ooh,
the interactive stuff that the personnel board does.
what,
If someone's reclassified, we need some language in there that
Okay,
that's really the reason for half of the checklist.
Right,
So would you like me to address that in
Mhm.
just briefly in
yes,
this document
I think so.
and say, see checklists or,
well,
I get it.
I think it's gonna be under the bylaws where it says compensation. This, see the checklist for blah, 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 and we could put, A, B, or C, whatever it's gonna be. There,
Um,
I laid out all the bylaws in columns
mhm.
with all the comments that people had made about stuff,
Yeah.
including in 1985.
This is right here, right?
I don't know, is it?
I don't know.
No, that looks like
No, this is
PPPs.
PPP.
Okay,
That's the PPPs. It's not in here.
It's not in that package.
okay.
It came out the last time.
So now herein is where I get confused. Because at the end of the day, if we hand this report to the selectmen and they consider it, and they have two choices, no, they have three choices. They can approve it or they can accept it. Different actions happen. So if we want, if our recommendation is that something should happen, shall happen, might happen, may happen, it has to be referenced,
Needs to have.
needs to have. So we have to, instead of just saying, we've included a handy dandy checklist
Some,
and move on, we have to indicate what we think should be the purpose and who's going to do it and how it's going to be used. Not in the sense of tying anybody's hands, but including the expectation that it has some meat on it. It's not there just to say, we had fun doing this.
really,
No,
it's
it's,
not my idea of fun.
Yeah. But, the fact that here is a document that would be very useful for the personnel board
Well,
to be using.
can we tie it in that we make these recommendations, that the select board deal with them and make sure that the select board put it on the town manager's action list to be done in the next 6 months? And that puts some meat in where we suggest this get done.
That, yes, and the goals, because that's the only control, the select, we're the animal of the select board. The
Yeah.
select board only have as one employee, the town manager.
Yep.
So they need to create
We need to-
goals and objectives for
Yeah.
the town manager.
Let me think, I'll write something on that
Okay,
as to how we tie it together, because otherwise,
We can either do it in the closing. The closing seems like a
Perfect place.
perfect place, nuts and bolts to say,
Yep.
the reason we're suggesting that checklist is
Yep.
because of X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
And that will be our final sort of piece.
and
Yeah.
that basically ties it down to do something and hold somebody accountable to do it.
Because some people are like me,
Yeah, like all.
they'll get this huge report and they'll go to the end.
Right,
Or just the beginning,
well, the other
Read-
thing,
read-
beginning and the end.
the other thing to do is to think about splitting up an overview of the introduction. What we want done with these, and then suggest that the town select board put it on, just talking from the top, the select board put it on the goals and objectives of the town manager. have to come.
Say it a little bit louder. I can't unmute, I'm having trouble hearing. Water just came on. The background.
What are you doing back
No,
there?
it was not her, it
I
was
know,
somebody
I
else.
guess.
Air
Maybe
conditioning.
we could split this somehow, and I just, in the overview, that the following items are things that we would recommend that the select board take action on. And,
tell them up front, the old
Yeah.
preacher thing. I'm gonna tell you this.
yeah, here's what we found, here's what they need to do for
Mhm.
action. And it should be part of the interim town manager's goals and objectives immediately to be accomplished by the end of November. So that way it puts realized, it could make a great paper where it would kill 3 trees.
I like that because it references how you're gonna read the report. If you anticipate that there are going to be goals in here, you can read the report differently than if you get all the end and say, now what?
I'll come up.
Yeah,
with-
I agree.
I'll come up with.
I agree. It gives you a sense of what the
Yeah,
point of all, what I'm gonna be reading
because otherwise,
is.
we may,
Yeah, I get it.
otherwise Ann has a point, refer to the website, nothing will ever happen. But I'm afraid, we're doing too much work at this.
No.
Are you
I
agreeing,
don't
Ann?
want
What?
to come out at the
Unless
other
we,
end.
unless we
with
try to
nothing
tie it
happening.
down.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna
That'll
be
be
paperwork.
Absolutely.
Very, very disappointing.
Yeah.
All right, so what,
So if you get some typing off here, Taylor, can you do some of this for us? Are you have time?
Absolutely. And I
Absolutely.
also have some software that I could just. take
Ooh,
it and export it
software.
and it will just put it into Word for us.
nice.
Say that again?
So I can just export what you have and then take it from there.
I like.
Well, now this will be done so nobody can get into your computer, right?
That's not possible.
Are you talking about the
But-
draft?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, let her do it. So you'll have to.
I think we had better post some meetings. Because I have nothing. Excuse me.
Okay.
And, when Ann and I spoke to the new selectmen. I feel like I'm going to explode here. When we
There you
talked to the select chair,
I'm good.
he did not see time in June or July.
Mhm.
And the town has this automatic flinching mechanism doing anything in the summer when nobody's in town. I'm always the one in town.
Well, we are too.
So really, we're looking at the earliest we can do something is September.
With
And-
who?
Hmm?
With who? The selectmen?
Make our selectman
Okay.
recommendation. And I believe there are a couple times in the fall when having this recommendation in hand would be very useful for the end of September, when all the boards and committees get together for, long ago, it was called the Fall Coordination Meeting. They call it something different now. And they talk about what they anticipate their year is going to be and if there was going to be any activity for town meeting or whatever. So here, we could stand at that meeting if we had a recommendation and say, we anticipate there would be activity at town meeting under the personnel board, or maybe they designate the personnel board to propose warrant articles to make XYZ changes, whatever. Amendments to the bylaw, or the transition from bylaw to policy. These are things that we talked about a month or more ago, but we haven't referenced recently. But, depending upon what our recommendation is, the select board, the Anitas, Neds, and Mark Howells of this world are anticipating that by 2023, there will be something at town meeting. And here in September, when all of the committees are making those reports, we could make a report.
It doesn't leave much time.
No, it does not. No, it doesn't.
That's what I'm worried about. That's my hesitation.
Well, I think we have to keep going. We can't stand down. I mean,
No.
just, for my own behavior, if I put down the task, it's awfully hard to come back to it later and try to finish it.
Right.
But I think we should soldier on and hope to be done in September.
So let me see if I can summarize. So we ought to set up two more meetings for work of getting the recommendations ready and for sharing those with the personnel board. So what you're saying? One meeting or two? I think one ought to do it.
You.
I'll throw it. We went through the personnel, the bylaws.
We've basically got everything. It's a question of laying it out.
And stating what to do with
Right.
it. I don't think it's sufficient just to say, here, these are the things.
Well,
we
one of
talked
the
about."
things that I was thinking about as you were talking was we have under recommendations a whole summary. And we just need to break them out by who's responsible for what,
Mhm.
because we've already
Mhm.
saying what our recommendations are.
Yes,
So we go back to this list and we say, these belong to the town manager, these belong to, whatever. And these belong to the personnel board.
Right, this was very good.
Yeah.
And if we find out one more thing that you.
And we
added
we
to
just
it,
added,
we just add it.
yeah.
On exactly that note, this is something that I've read and reread and reread. Under the summary of findings and recommendations.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 up from the bottom.
Yeah,
See 1985 document under 3BH. What the heck?
oh, that's me. That was me saying,
That's your.
that's the, yeah, appendix,
That's, okay.
yeah. I was just trying to be funny. I just,
That's okay. It worked.
Okay,
That's exactly what we talked about.
yeah, exactly.
okay,
I
so
cannot do 22nd, that's sufficient.
you just got your phone. Sorry about that.
It's okay. No big deal.
So you're saying the 22nd out for you,
Can't go.
definitely.
Definitely.
Okay, so we said at least one or two more meetings, and I prefer one.
You prefer none if it's good.
Well, exactly. I mean, really, I feel like it's time for other people to get involved.
Once we get a final draft, I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
So let me see what, if I understand. We have 1 or 2 meetings. We each go through this list, polish, insert, whatever we're going to do.
Let Aaron
Let Aaron
take it
do.
up. And
Find
play.
all of
Is that a good
those
idea?
things that we've talked about that need to be included, like the bylaws, the 1985. Our recommendations on the bylaws, your table.
mhm,
Find all of those things to make sure they're referenced in this.
Mhm.
And then we say, we're good, we understand, there is one concluding firm sentence. And we begin with, and the personnel board, we recommend the personnel board remain a viable part of the community. And we end with,
We suggest the select board take these actions to get it done, and here's how they should do it.
and then we get out of the way.
We run. Hi, guys, have fun.
We might make this a one meeting. You might. You might,
We
be
might.
right. You might, we might. Why don't we just say, we're gonna give it,
So
you know what? And,
Okay,
you know,
My
maybe,
only problem was it's always easier to make the meeting out into the future than it is to try and find one immediately. So if Erin wanted to see if every 2 weeks from here on out, she could do it, rather than ask her tomorrow to get one next week. It might not be as easy to get it. at
well, the only
short
reason I
notice.
did that was because of the personnel board being available. They said the 22nd, 23rd.
Yeah.
They typically meet at the end of the month.
When
Huh?
when they meet.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we ask Aaron to make the room reservation, get us a Zoom.
So a hybrid meeting at Kais Road 4, and let's put the dates.
Hybrid meeting for this committee.
Hybrid,
This
yes,
committee.
here, but with the Zoom for people to look over our shoulder.
Nobody's looking.
I heard
Well,
probably
there's
don't
there's
shoot.
several people.
Oh, yeah,
We're
yeah.
not showing. So the Monday after 4th of July, what is that? You've got your calendar there on your phone?
The 12th.
Huh?
Oh, 12?
Well, the 4th of July is on a Sunday, so that the first Monday after the 4th is probably celebrated. So that brings us to July
July.
12th.
One
Okay,
second,
so
Aaron has a
July
comment.
12th.
July 11th. The Monday following 4th of July is July.
July 11th.
Look at the wrong
On
year.
July
My camera said, it says the 12th.
You had it on there. Right on
Yeah, it does. Where'd you get that from? Don't buy the one on sale all the
I
time.
did, that's the problem.
Anyway, the Monday, is it the 12th?
Hold
or the
on,
11th?
you're right, I had the wrong year.
Okay, good.
That'll screw things up. Okay, so
Okay.
it's 11th we're talking about.
7-11. And skip a week.
Yep.
Then 7, no. Then if we do 7-11 for us, then we need to consult with personnel board for a meeting with them.
You want to do the 11th and the 25th for us? Yeah. two
Well, maybe the
meetings.
25th is the one
Why don't we invite
with
them?
the personnel
Why
board.
don't we invite them to ours, not?
Yeah.
When they're available.
Yeah.
Harsh.
Yeah. Right, so 7-11, 7:25 here, 4 PM.
Yeah,
And so June 22nd, I can release.
you can release it, yeah. Thank you.
And no one is asking, Aaron, are you available?
Yeah.
Because it
I'm
is the
always
summer.
available.
No,
Thank you.
This
I
is
don't want
a
you
party.
to
She
cancel a
wants to come.
vacation for.
Thank you.
You have to consult the party.
Well, I like this because that way, if the personnel board comes up with some ideas and concerns and issues, you have a chance to make some changes before
Yeah.
coming to the select board
Mhm.
in September. And that gives us August off.
Yes.
Where is the one that the employees will be invited to?
That would be toward the end of August, beginning of September.
The public hearing.
Yeah,
Which I still think we should do with the select board. Because they're the one that's.
well,
We could write to them.
It
And,
really should be,
well,
Don't you think so?
especially if we're meeting with the personnel board, so they'll be up to speed presumably on what we're doing. And then,
Yeah, because they're the people that gave us the charge to do it.
but are we not going to be inviting everybody? So I
to
think,
the open to the
the
public
hearing.
hearing, absolutely,
hearing.
everybody.
no, I think,
Yeah, that would
We are
be right
going
in
to-
September.
Well, I don't know what I don't know whether if we did it in August, it would be perceived as
No.
doing something when people are away.
yeah, that's. the
And that's what
problem.
I'm trying to avoid.
I'm planning to be away all summer, so.
Oh, be quiet. Rub it in.
So
Don't
if
tell me to be
we,
quiet.
if we put together artwork, etc., to do an invitation to this meeting, and we post it on the town website, we post it on all of the different social,
Between now and the end of August.
as soon as we have to get a date and then start advertising it. And we can send a special little note to those two committees, the select board and the personnel board, saying this is coming up, it's of special interest to them. We look forward to seeing it.
September 6th to the 27th, I'm probably not gonna be around.
Oh, rats, okay,
You are not?
I am not.
okay.
So what's the
I'll
week before that?
Labor Day.
Is there a September
Labor
date? Huh?
Labor Day.
Could do something.
When is Labor Day?
September 5th, if I have that right here. I'm just checking.
5th is Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Do it the week before.
I
Could we,
wouldn't, I wouldn't. And the
school, it
next
would
thing-
be,
But the
Right.
next thing we have to do is check the holy days.
That's,
I always get screwed up.
Yeah, I don't want to miss those this year. I always do. That's a joke.
when would school be
Yeah.
open? Will that be before, I bet you that's before Memorial Day, I
Labor Day.
mean, for Labor
One
Day.
of those two, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's, you have.
What,
any of
what
those
about the
rules?
last week of August? Do you think that's
Let's
really?
take advice on that. I think we should check with,
If
when
schools,
schools
if school is
start.
open, that would be,
that's an indicator that we
Yeah.
could have the meeting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
But it also means that back to school nights will start very quickly
but
thereafter.
if we did it Monday in school. open
we're talking
Monday,
about a public hearing. We're gonna
August.
run into something no matter what. What we
Yes.
can do is mitigate as many as we can, but we're not gonna do anything.
But I
August
think,
29th or 30th would be,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's,
gotta find out when school starts.
First day of school,
Yes,
if I
ma'am.
may, is, the high school is August 31
school starts?
at the high school. I think, Concord Public Schools and Concord Carlisle Regional High School, 2022-2023 school
Yep,
calendar. First
they
day of
are.
school,
Is that the
August 31.
22nd, August?
August 31.
Okay, which is a Wednesday.
September 2, no school. September 5, Labor Day.
no school is in a holy day.
Doesn't say that.
I would
No, it's probably just back to school stuff.
want to break them in early, easy.
So oddly enough, it seems like the first day of school is Wednesday, August 31st. They'll go to school Wednesday, August 31st, Thursday, September 1st. Then they're off the Friday and then the Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
So we could do August 29th or something like that because school be starting. Everybody had to be back.
Yep.
So let us, the royal we, let us, Aaron, check the calendar for conflicts that are already there.
No, 29th, is that when the select board meets?
So
It's a Monday,
No, this would be I'm talking about the public hearing right now.
but I think if we want the select board involved, they meet on the first Monday, I think.
So are you suggesting we would do this at their meeting or
Sure.
we invite them to
Do it
a
with them,
separate?
do it with them.
If we do it with them, we have a much smaller chunk of time
Yeah,
because their agendas are usually pretty full. We might have,
we know 2 months ahead though, maybe.
yeah, but I'm just going by history. We might say, if we were lucky enough to get on their calendar, they might give us 15 minutes of presentation and a total of 30 to 40 that includes time for
Discussion.
questions and discussion.
Right.
Now, that might be enough for you. But I don't see it as being,
I don't think we know.
I think it'd be better to have a separate public hearing from the select board.
And we hold it.
and we hold it,
And we hold it.
and make it very clear that we are issuing invitations.
Yeah, anybody can
and
come.
They should come.
Yeah,
right.
Um,
And make it, if we can, what about that Tuesday? Because I'm thinking when we have a select board liaison, I would imagine would want to come to the public hearing.
mhm.
I'm so sorry, to interrupt, and I don't.
No,
want to
please do.
elaborate, But Ms. Ackerman is on, she is attending the meeting.
Well,
right
she's
now.
present in the
Yeah,
meeting.
she's present now, just letting you know.
Who else?
Because if we throw it out there, which is, we,
Ms. Ackerman is present in our
Oh.
meeting right now, so she's observing if you are able to.
if we have a hearing and we invite all the employees, we could have from 1 to 100. I
Sure.
mean, we don't know.
I know,
So
right.
it can't, we need to plan that fairly well.
I could possibly be around on that 6th, I'll have to figure that
On the
out.
6th.
I can get a flight at 7:00 this morning.
So are we gonna try and target the public hearing at the end of August?
Sure.
Sure, let's
Yeah,
try and
right.
target, that we're asking Aaron to check for any conflicts of other impending events or reasons that we could or could not have a specific space.
Yeah.
I am, where to have it is another question.
Huh?
Where to
Right.
have it.
Yeah,
Right here.
And if we're, I just go back to the personnel bylaws state that employees will be notified if something of significance could be happening, so
yeah,
they need to be, in my opinion, officially notified
they do,
that that could be happening.
absolutely.
August first.
And do we do that during working hours? It's just a discussion, you know, where you're, someone's working all day and then you're gonna have them come back, or is the town willing to say you can go on town time to this meeting?
Ooh,
Then you will
yeah.
have likely have more people.
How about if we did it like, 3 o'clock in the afternoon? 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm asking, that's what
Yeah.
I'm throwing out there.
Could we, but we can't make that decision.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to the town manager about that.
To get the town manager to make a commitment
Yeah.
to something like that. She could have other ideas on the best way to be inclusive. I mean, for instance, you know, we tend to think of the workday being, you know, somewhere 7:30 to 5:30,
But it's not,
but it's not.
it's still 3:30.
It's 3:30, it's, you know, station.
It's all over the
10.
map.
Yeah, there's the
Different
midnight
shifts.
run,
Yep.
there's.
Right.
So we have to do our best. And we know from past history that, you know, we could ask MMN to record, but they cannot feasibly do an adequate job if we're playing talking heads.
Yeah,
And, you know, handing off to somebody in that corner of the room, or,
Yeah.
you know, we need
Right.
to provide some meat that they can capture that can then be shared.
I think it's appropriate to ask Aaron to talk to Kerry about it.
so we'll talk to Terry about it.
No, yeah.
Well, all right,
Aaron's right there. I would, whatever.
And she has a smile on her face still.
As you wish, I'm happy to do anything that is helpful.
I'm just thinking one less thing to do. So I
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
And if she,
Well, we're inquiring, but we're not being driven into a corner.
no, just do. And my main question is, give someone a chance to think about, is it something, do they allow the employees?
well,
Is it something that,
That's a legitimate question.
what would happen if we did it?
just float that theory, maybe, so she has an idea of,
What would happen
That
if we did
question
it
might
at
be
8 o'clock in the morning for an hour and a half? Do it at 8 o'clock in the morning. all of this.
Somebody bring the coffee.
I'm sure you agree. I just picked it out as doing something different, but they be easier to, when they come, when they start work versus after they're done.
that's why I'm suggesting possibly just run it by Karen, and just say, what do you think?
And
No decisions,
Yeah.
just,
but if we could produce a canned program, if we could get something not zoomed, but televised, you know, MMN televised something that could be run on a loop
Yeah.
at the convenience of.
right.
No,
Well,
it
that
might
could
be
be,
convenient, but they have no way to add input, you know, they're just watching, they're not contributing. That's the downside.
Yeah.
Of watching a loop.
Because what the answer to it is, I think will dictate to a great degree how many people show up.
Yes.
no, you're good, you got a good point.
Uh,
Totally off the wall if we get something at the beginning of the day. But we could get coffee, just a thought.
Yeah.
8 o'clock in the morning, so I'm up early at 6 o'clock. We'll sit when it's on to catch you.
We want to do it to catch
Right.
the largest crowd, and not just, you know, the folks that need the early morning coffee to get started, but people who are likely to.
Me.
I'll bring a coffee. Oh, yeah.
No,
I have
I'm
Starbucks
for that.
every day.
my husband's is one of these dry wit people. And he always has these puns. And I said, don't do it after I've had my coffee. Okay, so we try and target the public hearing for the end of August.
Yes, please.
And we'll work with you around that. Yeah. And then Ruth and I need to reach out to Matt and tell him what the schedule is and try and get on the agenda for the September select board meeting, one of them. Probably the sooner the better.
Yes, if, as I remember, there is the fall coordination meeting. That's usually, and that's usually out of the finance department.
Okay.
So Terry, no, not Terry. Carrie probably still has her hands on that one, would know. But, and that's just a notion that we could catch people's across.
So that would be the
Section.
other question for her is she gonna have a coordination meeting? And if it's gonna be in September, maybe it's gonna be pushed out to October, who knows?
Maybe they don't have it.
And maybe she doesn't have it at all. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
The other thing that I was thinking, and that's, circling back to the report, is to someplace in that report indicate that some of these recommendations would result in actions at town meeting 23. It's anticipated that it would result in actions in town meeting 23, and responsibility lies with others, not us.
Right.
We don't, yeah.
I agree.
I'm really pushing hard to have something fruitful come out of this activity that we have been doing, and not
Of
just-
consequence.
Yes.
That'd be a good idea.
Yes.
And that so many people have said to us, that's not X, fill in the blank, X is not for you to do. We know that.
Yeah.
We don't want to.
Well, there is a clause in there that says anything else you might encounter.
No, tend to
Right.
it, yes. But tending to it is identifying it and making it clear that some standing committee or party
Yeah.
takes responsibility for addressing it. We know a whole list of things that need to be fixed, but it's not our job.
So the other action items that I want to capture is I will work with Paul around taking his document and the summary or introduction that used to be called introduction and kind of combining them, and we'll get so that we mutually agree on that. What other action items? Bruce, were you offering to do the closing statement?
I'll think about it, yes. I'll come up with something.
Great,
for a
thank
full
you.
meeting
And I
closing.
believe I will come up with a paragraph about the classification, reclassification.
In
Come in here
okay,
that references the checklist
okay,
and get that to you.
okay, great.
So it'll be this. And then the other thing I'm leaving, not
And
to.
can you do it by the end of this week?
Yeah.
Thank you,
Immediately.
because I'm trying to get everything off of my desk by next
It won't be a long.
Wednesday.
And when can we get all this stuff on her lap so she can reformat it and load all this?
Yeah,
stuff in?
I'll work with Aaron on, you and I will work. Yeah, good.
And how soon can we get that? Maybe by the end of this week too?
Well, hopefully we get it for the July 11th meeting.
I'm saying.
That's why I just said,
If we-
give it to me by the end of the week.
Well,
Okay, if we can get it by the end of the week, we give us some time to think about it, that's all.
Right.
That's-
Okay, anything else?
I have to go back to the beginning to look at the agenda, see if there's anything else.
Well, then we have, anybody want to make any public comments?
Do we have a public?
Do we have a public?
Also, no public,
No public anymore?
so exciting they left.
No, none's offered.
They're afraid they're gonna get asked to do something, that's
By the end of the
why.
Right, so the pending on June 22 is going to be canceled. Okay. Okay, no,
And Aaron's gonna talk to Terry, to Gary
Carrie.
about, what's planned for August and September. And get back to Ruth and I about it.
And we, or you two, somebody's going to talk to Carrie about possible opportunities for hearings that would better include employees. So it's not just the date.
Right,
Yes, that would, let Aaron,
Aaron's
Feel that out.
captured that too, right?
Days, times.
Yeah.
coffee,
Right,
coffee,
okay.
evening,
Yeah.
during working hours.
Working hours,
Or, right,
you know.
If you do a buffet breakfast at 7:30 in the morning, you might get more people. I don't
maybe
know.
this is an opportunity for the next town coffee and cake
Oh, yes.
communication.
Put this all together.
Yes.
We could call it coffee with senior citizens.
Are we still on the,
What?
That's us.
are we still on the clock here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's not, yeah.
Move we adjourn.
I had a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Can you